This is Black Ram with another conversation for the Brotherhood. Today's topic will be entitled The Day of the Woman, or Woman's Day. And just what is Woman's Day? In thinking about this, I come to realize that being honest with ourselves and myself, whether you red pill or blue pill, for many of us, what a woman is that she is the object of our every desire. She is our reason for being. We adore this creature. We admire her. Our deepest desire, our biggest thrill is pleasing her, to make her laugh, to make her smile, to provide for her, to sacrifice for her, to work hard for her. Now, this is hardwired biological programming in order to propagate the species. We desire nothing more than to fulfill her desires. Men are the servants of women. And what we want in return for our hard work, what we want for our service, is to come home and see her smile. And to feel appreciated, to feel loved and wanted, to be understood, to be accepted for who we are at our core, for her to realize what sets us apart from other men, for us to be as special to her as she is to us. This is only a dream that can't be actualized. You want to come home to a beautiful woman who loves you. But it's a dream. It's marketing. It's an illusion. We work hard on our jobs. We go to school. We get careers. We buy nice cars, nice clothes to attract women. If you were on an island with nothing but men, or let's say no one there, would you take the time and effort to groom as well as you do men? Would you take the time and effort in the gym to look good? Would you spend the money on the haircut? See, it's all for her. Everything we do is for her. Well, let's look at the whole dating process. You see a woman that you like. You work up the courage and the strength to speak to her, to approach her. It's a bad thing to be rejected, especially outright in public, and sometimes rejected and shamed. But you have to push through and have the courage to approach her. And not only do you have to have the courage, but you have to have the confidence and the demeanor and the persona to draw her in. For some, this requires acting skills. So once you approach her with confidence, you then have to say something witty, something that can catch her attention. Now, simplistic as it may seem, this takes great social skill and awareness. You then must ask her for her phone number, and then decide when the time is right to call her. Then have interesting conversation. Then traditionally take her out on a date, spend your hard-earned money, and impress her. And you must be consistent in making her laugh. Consistent in your appreciation of her. Consistent in your wooing of her. You must be interesting. You must have your shit together. A car, a house, clothes, job, career. Now, you increase the chance of wooing her and luring her, of course, if your bank account is 6 figures or more. And the less money you have, the more skillful you must be. And not only do you have to work hard to attract her, you must work hard to maintain her, in which she's never satisfied. And once you do all of that, she rewards you with sex that you must be excellent at. You have to fuck her brains out. You must be good in bed. And even when you get your reward for her, from her by having sex, it's more of her reward. Because you get to work hard while she sits back and enjoys it. And you get a release from that. But your release is amplified by knowing that you are pleasing her. In the few seconds of euphoria you get when you reach orgasm is the only satisfaction physically that you can get. Because there is no satisfaction emotionally. There is no satisfaction financially from her. She is the chief benefactor of your hard work and service with only a cheap reward. But this is what we do. And we go even further. Think about your ex-girlfriend, present girlfriend, or future girlfriend. Would you not risk your life for her? Would you not sacrifice your life for her? Imagine a man with a gun coming up to rob you and her together. Would you not stand in front of her and take that bullet? Of course you would. It's instinctive. It's intrinsic. It's within you to provide and protect for her. Doing all of this, knowing that she would never return this. She would never put her life on the line for you. In fact, she is unwilling to take even a little discomfort, no matter how small or minute it may be. Your existence, in her mind, is simply to serve her. You have no other objective. You are not free to be a human being with interest. Your interest only must be her. And not only does she get this interest from you and this worship and adoration for you, the whole world falls down at her feet. A woman has everything that she could ever ask for. When you marry her and she becomes a traditional housewife, she has your resources. And if she gets tired of that, she gets alimony, child support in the house. You spend thousands of dollars on her wedding ring, thousands of dollars on her wedding night, thousands of dollars with all types of gifts and trinkets to appeal to her. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, right? She gets the jobs if she wants them, the best jobs that she's unqualified for. Because most women are unqualified. I'm sorry, all women are unqualified to lead. In fact, she gets to have the kids and the husband, and she gets to have the job as well. She gets everything that she could ever ask for. She gets the welfare checks. She gets the financial aid for school. And if she does fall in this society, if she falls into dysfunction, if the welfare isn't enough, If the child support and alimony and the husband isn't enough, and she makes a mistake and she turns to vice in order to support herself, she gets less punishment for crimes. And there are all sorts of social programs to help her get back on her feet so that she can be served by you once again. If she falls ill, there's better health care and research done on her behalf. And we all know about how much money has been spent to search for all manner of treatment, prevention, and cures for her ailments, but none, or almost none, for those ailments that particularly affect men. Even in personal relationships and extending to the whole of society, she's never viewed as being wrong. She's always right. She's free from ridicule and shame in the mainstream media and by most men. She even gets certain types of perks. All women get free shit. Free meals, free drinks, get into venues for free. The whole society falls at her feet. Especially if she's a beautiful looking woman. But with all of this privilege, for she is the privilege and leisure class, as Barbarossa once mentioned. But this leisure and luxury that has been so afforded to her, this bending over backwards of society for her, having the whole world in her hands and at her feet, is still not enough, and she is unsatisfied because her appetite is unsatiable. But this is her day. And no matter what she does wrong or what mishaps she may have, she is still rewarded. Think of a woman who has multiple children by multiple men and hundreds of sex partners. The men within the sound of my voice may not marry her, but there are many men who are willing, ready, and able to do what? Marry her, provide for her, to do anything to please her. If she's overweight with the multiple children and the multiple men, she still has men at her disposal. And we have to stop saying that what type of man would want what type of woman. I don't care if she's fat, if she's ugly, if she's broke, if she's a drug addict, if she's lost all her teeth, an outright crack whore prostitute. There are men who will be willing to love her, provide for her, marry her, and do for her. There is no woman on the planet that would be ever left out by a man. That is the power that women have. There's no such thing as a single lonely woman. A single lonely woman is only that because no one can meet her expectations. Men, she has the power. Stop thinking that we have power over her by not choosing to be with her, because there will always be a mangina, a blue pillar that's willing to accept her for everything she is and isn't, no matter what. This is her day. Now think about this. If you met someone, male or female, and they told you that they had been married 30 times and divorced 30 times, a thinking person, an average person, would say, hey, this individual certainly has some mental issues emotional issues and relationship issues. And if she's been married, or he for this example, has been married 20 times, the odds are that there will be a 21st divorce. In fact, if somebody told you to go and get in an elevator, that there is, let's say 90% chance that this elevator will break down and you will fall to your death, how many of us would take this elevator ride? How many of us would commit to a relationship with someone who has been married and divorced 20 or more times? I know it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Because most elevators don't fall from the 10th floor down on a daily basis. Most people have not been married 20 or more so times. But check this out. Your typical American female, by the time she's age, let's say 35, 40, has been in multiple relationships for various lengths of time throughout her lifetime. Again, various relationships, multiple relationships, over maybe a 20-year span, in and out of relationships over and over again. And by the time she's 40 years old, she has had hundreds of men, and sometimes 20, 30, 40, and 50. But when you look at her objectively, this 35, 40-year-old female, and yeah, even sometimes in their 20s, but this particular female, or any female, any female, what she has is a 100% failure rate of relationships. How do you like those odds? Again, 100% of the time, in all of her relationships, they have failed. And 95% of the time, she is the one who decided to leave those relationships. Not to mention the emotional and physical baggage that she has taken with her to the next relationship. But despite these impossible odds of a 100% failure rate of female relationships, regardless of the children and the obesity that she may have, men will still marry her, love, protect, and provide for her, and even sacrifice their lives for the female. She is invincible. She cannot be beaten. This is her world and her territory. So what can you do? Well, what you can do is this. You can congratulate her. She can be considered a god, small g. This is her day, the age of the feminine. The rulership of the feminine principle. The day of the female lead. So what is a man to do? Me, for one, as well as most of you, I concede. This is my concession speech. Women, you have won the gender war. You were impossible to beat anyway. I give you your respect. My hat's off to you. I give up. You are the boss. Women, you all are the champions. The world has been given to you. A relationship with any woman is a losing game, since she has the whole world at her fingertips, at her disposal, at her feet. When it comes to sex and dating and marriage and relationships, she makes all the rules, and she can change them and adjust them to her advantage at any time. You can't win. You can't break even. All that you can do is choose not to play and go your own way. I realize that true freedom is to be desireless. I think it was the Taoist that said this, that all desire is suffering. If you want to end your suffering, the way you do that is to end your desires and become desireless. In fact, you should desire nothing but to be desireless. This is an awesome philosophy. See, I do not desire to be submissive to a woman. I do not desire to worship at a woman's feet. I do not desire to become a woman's bitch, to become her servant, to make her my God. For me, I must completely dominate. She must be at my feet. And if that's the problem, that's okay. Because the opposite of this is what it means to be a bitch. To be weak. So again, women have the whole world at their feet. I understand. I accept female nature for what it is. I accept the world for what it is, female controlled and dominated. And even the men at the top bow to their women. I accept, but I turn my back on the world. I choose a different path. And when you think about it, in a sense, the joke is on her. It's on them. It's on the women. She has inherited a world that is falling apart at the seams. A world that is changing and will soon digress or regress or fall into whatever word you want to use. A world that's going into chaos and calamity. A world within a few short years possibly will be vastly different when the economies of the world shut down, when World War III is at our doorsteps. Her world that has been handed to her via the industrial and information age. A world that's been handed to her by the global elite will soon come crashing and falling down on her. What will you do then, men? Because she will suffer. And I'm starting to think that not even the mangina will save her. Because it's hard to be a horny man when you're starving. And me personally, I'm going to enjoy seeing the world burn. And I hope to walk past the current gods of this age. To walk past them and laugh at their calamity. That's their reward. That will be the end of her day. And that day will be soon. But until that time, women, enjoy your day. And men, we will continue to go our own way. This is Black Ram.